This is Project Kyle coming to you from Planet BookTube. Today, I'm going to be talking about my February TBR for the BookTube games. What are the BookTube games, you may ask? It's an event where booktubers from around the world can join one of 5 teams and fight to the death by reading as many pages as you possibly can. And yes, I will be fighting for Team Ketterdam. Yay. Each team will have a leader who will assign challenges to get extra bonus pages. And in the end, the team that wins will be the team that has the most average pages read, meaning that it will not be points total. So if you have someone who only reads 1 page, it's gonna hurt the team. On the other hand, you could have someone who has millions of pages read, but their team still might not win because it's gonna come down to the average. This phenomenon adds a very high level of competition, and it's something I'm very excited to be a part of. I will link the BookTube's game's Twitter down below, that way if anyone who is watching this wants to join, they can go right ahead. But now, without further delay, let's get into my TBR for February. First off, I would like to finish When Stars Burn Out by Anna Vera. This has been a very thrilling book so far. However, I plan to get at least towards the climax by the time that February comes around. That's when I read the most pages, is during the climax. So I feel that starting with that will give me some early pages and get me motivated to read. Next on my list will be Almost Normal by Isla Ray. This book, as I mentioned before, comes from an author that I'm actually friends with in the real world. I've read her poems before and they are flat out brilliant. Very emotional, lots of feeling has gone into her work, so I'm really excited to read this book to see what she has come up with, as this is her debut novel. This book I hear is pretty fast paced and it has 308 pages, so this would be a good early start for me personally. I also heard that they're allowing manga into this challenge. So for my first manga, I want to read Ruby. And yes, it's just called Ruby. I read volume 2 of the Ruby manga anthology, and it was based around my favorite character, Weiss. Although it wasn't my favorite book of all time, it did have some very touching moments. I feel that they portrayed Weiss's character accurately. And considering I'm a huge fan of the show on Rooster Teeth, I'm actually very excited to get into this. I'm also going to research some other mangas that I can look up. I can read mangas super fast, so I don't want to do just manga. I feel that would be unfair. But if I start falling behind, that's kind of my plan to rebound, to get to the average. Because everyone knows I'm kind of a slow reader when it comes to books. Last but certainly not least, as I am representing Team Ketterdam, I'm going to end my reading experience with Crooked Kingdom by Leah Bardugo. I don't want to give any spoilers to the first Six of Crows book. I'm just going to say that something happens to one of my favorite characters, and I am very anxious to see what happens to them. So you can bet that this is going to be either an amazing or a depressing read for me, depending on what happens to them. And that's it! We are done! To everyone participating in the BookTube games, I wish you all the best. And I also want to apologize from the deepest depths of my heart, because Team Ketterdam is going to annihilate everyone. On that note, this is Project Kyle signing off. Farewell.